Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it would be fun to show you how to make espresso in a mocha pot. This is the cheapest way that I have found to make espresso without an espresso machine, which those can be a couple $100 up to $1,000 or more if you want a really nice one. If you don't know what a mocha pot is, this is a mocha pot. You can buy them off of Amazon for like $20, I think. It makes espresso on the stove, and the first time I made espresso in this, it did not taste good. There is an art to it. So I have tried many methods, watched videos, and I have found what works best for me. So if you are having trouble making espresso in an espresso pot, or if you are looking for a cheaper way to do it, this is what I would recommend. This is my go-to. So let me show you all the supplies that we will need. This is everything you will need. You'll need your mocha pot, a milk pitcher, any milk that you would like. I use this oat milk, a coffee grinder, French press, coffee, any coffee you'd like. I use the Starbucks blonde espresso, a towel, a spoon for stirring. You will need a teapot or anything to warm your water up beforehand, a mug, and I like to put vanilla extract, cinnamon, and honey in my lattes. So the first thing you're gonna want to do is to get your water hot. You want it hot before putting it in your mocha pot. Otherwise, if you just put cold water in your mocha pot right on the stove, it's going to take forever to heat up, and then your espresso or your coffee beans are going to burn before the water hits them, and you're going to get a really bitter shot. So to prevent that, we are going to warm our water up first, which is why I have my tea kettle. Willow wants to be in the video. So we're going to warm our water up first, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, while that's warming up, I'm going to get my espresso ready. So this already comes ground, but you want to grind it again. I have tried just using the straight ground stuff from the store, and I get a bitter shot. So you want to make sure it's freshly ground, even if you have pre-ground coffee. Grab my coffee grinder. And you want this pretty finely ground. If you know what espresso powder or what a good espresso grind looks like, that's about the consistency you want. So just pour enough in. So I poured enough in just to hit the line there. This is about the consistency we're going for, kind of when it starts to stick together. Not too fine, because you don't want it to be so packed into the mocha pot, but where when you blend it, it starts kind of clumping up a little bit. Okay, now I'm just going to untwist my mocha pot. So this has three parts to it. There's the top part with the lid, and that's where your espresso is gonna come out. And then there's this part. That's where you put your espresso, your ground espresso, and then this bottom part is where the hot water is going into. So right now I'm going to be putting my espresso into this part of the mocha pot. You can also use your spoon for this. It just makes it a little bit easier. You don't want to pack it in there. You just want to lightly put it in. Okay, you're going to want to fill it right to the brim, and as an extra step, you can take a toothpick or a fork and just kind of drag it in there to get out any lumps that you might have. This isn't necessary, but it might just give you a smoother shot. Okay, after you've done that, you can just kind of tap it to even it all out, and then tap it on the counter to slightly pack it down, but you don't want to push it down at all. Do not push the espresso or pack it in there, otherwise your water isn't gonna come through the shot. You don't want it packed like a real espresso machine where you put your clamp in there. I'm forgetting the word of it, but you do not want to pack it down like you normally would. You just want to have it nice and even and light in there. Now that our water's ready, I'm going to do the rest. So our water's hot. You want to fill it up right below this gold piece there. You can see I filled the water right below that gold metal piece there. This is where you're going to want your towel because this gets very hot once that water's in there. I'm going to take this piece with the espresso in it, drop it right in, take your top piece, and you're going to twist it on nice and tight. Now we're going to bring it over to the stove. Now we're going to turn on our stove. You want it on about medium to low. We're going to put our mocha pot on there and keep the lid open because you want to be able to control the flow coming through the spout of the espresso. You don't want it to go crazy. You just want it to have a nice steady flow. You want to be in control of it. I found that a gas stove works best so you can control the flame, and electric, it's not like consistent and steady. So we're just going to let this sit for a few minutes and warm our milk up while this is going. I use about a cup of milk. Sometimes I'll do a little bit extra just to be safe, but I warmed that up in the microwave. Okay, now this is starting to go here. You see how it's just coming out nice and steady? You want to keep that at about that same speed. So we are going to keep our hand on the knob here and adjust it as we need. We can go hotter or colder. And you just want a nice, steady flow. Once it gets to this point, when it starts getting higher, you want to turn it off and close the lid and transfer it to your mug right away before the shot burns in there. This usually makes 2 shots for me. I'll pour about half in one mug and half in another to save it. You can store the rest of it in the fridge for iced coffee. That's what I usually do. Sometimes I'll put some brown sugar in it and shake it up like a brown sugar shaken espresso. Or you can add the flavoring in it right now so it melts down and then save it for later and just add milk to it. Okay, now we're going to add our flavoring to our latte. I like to put honey in mine. A little bit of vanilla and some cinnamon. You can put whatever you want in if you have like syrups that you like. Sometimes I'll do maple syrup. Give it a stir with your spoon. You don't want to let this shot sit too long with nothing in it, so sometimes I'll take part of my milk and do a little drop in there. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that your shot can burn after just a few seconds, and so I don't like to let it sit too long without anything. Okay, so this is where the milk part comes into. I'll pour my milk into my French press, and I'm gonna froth it. You don't want to pull this completely out of the milk and get a bunch of bubbles. You want to kind of keep it low and just froth it all up in there until it looks nice and creamy. Give it a little spin to get rid of a few of the bubbles and pour it into your milk pitcher. Okay, if you ever wonder why baristas do this, it's to get rid of any of the extra bubbles. Here, I think I have too much milk in here. Okay. Tapping and stirring gets rid of any of those excess bubbles, so you have really smooth milk if you're trying to do latte art. Okay, so after we've done that for a few times, I'm going to start putting milk into my latte. So first you want to just put a little milk in there, keep it up nice and high, and then you're going to come close and put little dots in there. And there is your latte. Not my best latte artwork. I feel under pressure with the camera, but This is how you make latte with your mocha pot. And we can't do a coffee video without a taste test. You know it's good when you get the little milk mustache. It's so good. It's not bitter at all. It's nice and smooth and creamy, and it just has a nice coffee flavor. One more thing, do not put this in the wash machine. You want to wash it by hand. Don't even use soap. Just use hot water. Rinse it out till it looks clean. You can take a little scrub brush to it. But it is good for the oils and the espresso to absorb in there. I don't know all the technical terms, but I've heard that you're not supposed to wash this. Just wash it with hot water. Make sure it looks clean and, you know, there's no gunk on it. But you do not want to wash this with soap. Just rinse it out with water. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you if you have a mocha pot and just don't know how to use it, or if you've been needing some more tips on how to make a better shot. I hope this video can help you and that you can make great coffee. Alright, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.